What's going on, everybody? It's Gino coming at you to break down UFC Vegas 64. We have Lemos versus Rodriguez. Before I get started, if you have not done this, most importantly, hit my channel with a subscribe. If you're a first-time viewer, give it a chance. Go ahead and give me a watch and then see if I'm worth a subscribe. In the meantime, hit it with a like and leave me a comment of your favorite fight of this week. That does nothing but boost the algorithm. Those are really important in growing my community. I've had a lot of fun with you all over the past year, just growing this thing and getting to know everybody. One last thing, if you follow my free article, last week we were able to cash our three-leg parlay. That's our free three-leg parlay that comes out every single week through the DFS Army. In my free article, it was Park, Deletes, and Durden. You play those three, you're able to get some money. So I hope you tailed that and got some money off of it. And let's get started. So first we have Lemos versus Rodriguez. I'm going to tell you right now, I like Lemos. I think that she's a live dog here. The under 4.5 being minus 160 being on the minus side. And Lemos, her most likely path to victory is getting a finish here. She's plus 180, so she's a decent underdog. But if you look at Rodriguez, I don't think she really deserves all that. She has a split decision loss versus Esparza. Okay, split decision. That shows she's pretty tough. She has the round 2 TKO versus Ribas, and her other four wins as being 4-1 in her last 5 have been decisions, and she has a split versus Jan. Now, she only scored 88 and 85 fantasy points in her 5-round wins, which makes me like her even less at $8,800. So I really like Lemos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up on Lemos relative to the field, and then I am going to do a sprinkle of Rodriguez. I'm going underweight on Rodriguez. That's one of the stands I'm taking, and I'm hoping it works out for me. Daniel Rodriguez versus Neil Magny. Now, I'm actually going to go Daniel Rodriguez. People are hating on him from his last fight. They're saying it was kind of a fluke, but I think it was just a crappy situation for him, how they were flipping all the fighters and all that stuff with the Diaz fight, the Diaz card. So I'm going to cut him a break, and I still think he looks good. I still think he's a competitive fighter. Now, from a fantasy perspective, I just don't think this is a very good fight. I'm going to play a little D-Rod because he's $7,800. Neil Magny, on the other hand, he's $8,400. He'll probably win a decision, but it won't score much. He scores 60 to 70 fantasy points typically. His most likely path to victory is this plus 130 decision. The over 2.5 is minus 215. Neither guy produces a heavy amount of volume over the 3 rounds that makes me think that they're really worth investing heavily in on Draftkings. But I will say, on the plus money betting side, I could see Rodriguez being in my 3-leg parlay because I do like him a lot as a dog this week. Chase Sherman versus Parisian. I am going to go Parisian. Now, that's another dog. You guys are noticing a trend here. I'm going with a lot of dogs this week. But this is a crappy fight. I mean, neither guy's that good. They're pretty sloppy. You look at Chase Sherman, he's 1-4 over his last 5. He has 2 decision and 2 submission losses. He does have a TKO win versus Vandera recently, but it's Vandera. He sucks. So if we look at Parisian, he has 2 TKO wins and being 3-2 over his last 5. Bordeaux and Johnson in round 1. Who cares? Not very good. Now, he has shown the ability to get over 100 significant strikes, and I could see him voluming it up, wearing down Sherman, and hitting that round 2 plus 750 KO TKO. So I do like Parisian, and I think he'll get a finish. I'm going all in on this fight because these two suck, and they're priced at $8,200 and $8,000. I think somebody's going to get a finish here. The under 2.5 is minus 160. I see whoever winning, paying off their price tag, and being in the optimal lineup. So the fight I'm all in on, and I'm playing the dog. Nate Maness versus Ulanbekov. So I actually like Ulanbekov. He's got a good camp. He's with Khabib and all them, and I just, I'm done messing with Khabib. Like, I'm not fooling with him no more. You guys already know I'm a fan. I tried to put that aside, and I was going for DuBronx last week, but did not work out. So On this card, I do think him fighting Maness, I think minus 215 might be a little steep, but at $8,600 on DraftKings, I think he might be a sneaky stud play. He's minus 105 to get a decision, plus 400 to get a submission. He could rack up some control time and then hit that round 1 plus 800 submission as well. It's plus 350 to end by submission. It's plus 300 to end by KO, TKO. And it's the over 2.5 is minus 210. So while the over 2.5 is minus 210, it does show that there's a good chance of this thing ending by finish. I'm going to be heavy on the fight, but I'm going heavy towards Tajir. Now you have Grant Dawson versus Madsen. I'm going Grant Dawson. I think Grant Dawson is a good fighter. I do think Madsen is good. I think he's got some wrestling upside, but I think Dawson can counter that, can fight with that. I think that Dawson has the experience of quality fighters on him. I do think Madsen is somebody you want to invest in, elevated, but I'm going to be more on Dawson because I do think that he could hit that plus 300 submission, the plus 140 decision, and if he hits the plus 140 decision, he could volume his way and score well at $9,000, and most people chase finishes, and that's really not the path to getting great DK scores. If you can get control time, if you can get takedowns, if you can get significant strikes, overall volume, and then rack that up with a knockdown or two, then you're going to score well in DraftKings. Shaylin Nerdembeki versus Derek Minor. I am going Minor, and I'm going by submission again. I like him at plus 175. The under 2.5 is minus 130. Now, I think this is another fight I like a lot from both sides, but I think that $8,900 makes me not like Nerdembeki as much. He does have good volume, and he can get control time, scores over 90 fantasy points in his decision wins, but that's where I think he wins this fight if he does. At minus 205, he'll get a decision. He's minus 205 on the money line, but I do think he'll get a decision. And scoring just over 90 fantasy points at $8,900 could very easily keep him out of the optimal lineup or really paying off his price tag. You look at Minner, on the other hand, if he can get a finish, which he was able, my thing that I have a lot of respect for is him taking McKinney out in round 1. People can say whatever you want about that win. He beat McKinney. So McKinney, T-Rex, is a good fighter. So I like Minner, and I think that he will get a win here. Shayna Young versus Miranda Maverick. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Miranda Maverick's already fought her, ran through her. She's going to fight her again, and she's going to run through her again. The line keeps moving towards Maverick, and I think she's just in a smash spot. She's plus 225 to end the fight either way in round 1, plus 450 to do it in round 2. I think at $9,400, these are the spots I really like because a lot of times these female fighters that are in the smash spots, they get neglected. They get neglected from an ownership standpoint, and I think this is a great place to get leverage. So I'm going Maverick. I'm actually going to say she hits that decision, but I think that's the most likely, path. But I do think she can get a finish here. So I'm going to play her, and I'm going to play her a lot. I'm not even touching Young. I don't play $6,000 range fighters. Sholinian versus Munoz. I'm going Munoz, who is the favorite here at minus 225. I think Munoz has several round 1 and round 2 finishes. He's plus 140 to get a decision here, plus 250 to get a submission, plus 380 to end the fight in round 1 in any way. Now, the over 2.5 is minus 190, which tells us it's more likely to go over from a book standpoint. And then if you look at the $7,500 Sholinian, his volume's just okay. And if he wins this fight, I think it'll probably be like a decision. He's going to need a finish to score well in DraftKings. But I just don't think he's going to win this. I really have a lot of faith in Munoz to get it done. And so I'm going to go ahead and play with that. And I'm going to play Munoz, and I'm going to play him under 2.5. Carlos Candelario versus Jake Hadley. Yeah, middle fingers. I don't know why. Something about sticking 2 middle fingers up in a picture. Just, I don't like it. But anyways, I'm going to play Hadley. He's 6 of his 8 wins have been finishes. He did lose a decision to Nascimento, which shows his ability to be durable and go the distance, which, with those guys that get a lot of finishes, that's always a question there. He has several early finishes in round one. He submitted undefeated at the time, Raposo, and the Dana White Contester Series. He's plus 300 in this fight to get a submission, plus 110 to get a decision, plus 450 to end the fight in round one, plus 700 to end the fight in round two. The under 2.5 is plus 175, which from a betting standpoint, that's something I think I might bet because I think there's some value there in playing the under. I do like Candelario. I think he's one of the better dogs at $7,000. I think that's a value for Candelario in plus 215 because I don't think he's that far out of this fight. It's not like Hadley's like this battle-tested veteran who only has one loss. He's 8-1, fairly newer to the UFC. Candelario is not much different from him. 5 of Candelario's 8 wins have been finishes within the first 2 rounds. He could come out here and smoke him early and just get it done to get the win. So I will say I'm elevating both fighters. I'm going to be above the field on both fighters, but I do think Hadley wins as the favorite. Vidal versus Pascual. Another dog's barking. I like Pascual. And, a lot of times I just go by women's MMA. I like to bet dogs in women's MMA, and it tends to pay off pretty decent. Pascual, she has submission and TKO finishes, but she doesn't have any real notable wins. You look at Vidal, on the other hand, it's her first UFC fight, so she doesn't have any notable wins. So why not go with the value here? $7,700 on DraftKings, plus 120. That's who I like, and it's going to be dog or pass because Vidal's plus 150 to get a decision, plus 400 to get a submission, but her volume could be low enough to where if she gets a late finish, she could still not score well. So I do like Pascual, and I like Pascual to get a win on the money line. You've got Vienna versus Jenu Frey. I am going Vienna. I think she's going to get the submission here. Now, this is one of the favorites that I'm picking. I just don't really like Jenu Frey. I don't think she's that good. I know there's people that'll debate that with me. She was finished by Kay Hansen, who's good. And then if you look at Vienna, she beat Schitmeyer and Martin, but they were good showings. I can't say that she's really beaten a bunch of great people, but I don't think Frey's that good. You know what? You've lost to good people. Now, Vienna got taken down 5 times by Ricci, but when she went the distance and she wasn't outstruck. So, but Ricci kind of just sat on her. But still, I think Ricci's a good fighter. She deserves some respect in that terms. I don't think either of these guys are top contenders. So with that being said, I do like Vienna, and I think she could get it done in round 1 with a submission. She's plus 350 to get a submission, and she's any method of victory in round 1 plus 550. So I like Vienna, and I am going to pick her to win by submission. Benito Lopez versus Bautista. I'm going Bautista, and I'm going Bautista or past. I like him to hit that under that's plus 110. He scores well in his wins. He's 4-2 over his last 6. He lost to Trevin Jones on a KO-TKO loss, and then Sandhagen, he lost a submission loss. So he gets finished, and he's shown that. But he can get high striking, he can get high takedowns, and he can get a lot of control time. He does have the optimal score potential at his price, and again, 9,100. A lot of times those prices with guys that's names don't resonate with a lot of people. Those guys can win you a tournament if they can hit. And then you have Bautista at plus 330 to get it done in round 1, plus 600 to get it done in round 2. I like him. I think he's a good play. Lopez, plus 500 to get a decision. That's his best bet. And it's going to be ugly and sloppy if he does it, and he will not score well. All right, guys. Hey, so that is it. If you have any questions, reach out to me at TheRealGC9 on my Twitter. Also, I am in the Discord on DFS Army. If you are not a member, go ahead and join. We have been smashing in NFL. We smash in NBA. We pretty much smash in every sport. We have a millionaire. There's been multiple showdown, takedown people that have won 7 digits, 8 digits. And so we also, and as I said, we have a millionaire from this year that's just a member. So something to join. Use my promo code DFLGNO. You'll get 10% off. And they are currently running a special for the VIP pass. which you'll get access to the Discord and all the tools that we use in MMA. Again, guys, if you have not done so, hit my channel with a subscribe. Thanks for watching.